I'm just going to extend on what I said in the last video, because if you want to change the background, that is possible to do. What we could do, if you were to save that image and open this image as a JPEG onto Photopea, then you can skip this next step. But because I've got that same image with all the different layers, I'm going to need to merge those layers. So I'm just going to hold down the Shift key and click on each of the layers. And then I'm going to right click on the layers to merge those layers, and that'll sort of mash them all together. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my quick selection tool, which is just at the side. So you might need to hold down on the magic wand tool to find the quick selection tool. So you can do that. And then hold down and it should select most of this area. If it selects an area of the background that you don't want, there usually is a way that you can get rid of that by holding down the Alt key, although that doesn't seem to be working so well. So what we'll do, we'll use the eraser tool later. So we're going to do what we did before, create a new layer. We're going to copy what we had. So make sure you go back to your background layer, copy that, go into your new layer, do paste. You've always got to make sure that you're on the correct layer. So if it's not working, just check that you are on the correct layer. And then we're going to make another layer, which we put in between the background and your image of Taylor Swift. And we'll get a big brush. So we get the brush tool, pick whatever color you want. So if you double click on this bit here, you can use the sliders to get a color. Now I think Taylor Swift seems like a very sort of pink, fuchsia sort of, she's got that sort of aura, so I'm going to give her a pink color. You can use the square brackets tools to change the size of your brush. So I'm going to use a very big brush here, so I can just paint that in like so. And you can see we've got some extra bits here that we don't need. So I'm just going to go back into my layer and try and get rid of those bits. So if I go back onto the Taylor Swift layer, try and use the quick select tool again to get rid of that bit. But I'm not going to worry if it's just selecting the whole thing. So if I go Control D, that will deselect it. And I'm going to use a different tool. So I'll use my eraser tool. There it is. Yeah, eraser tool. And the same with the brush. You can change the size of your eraser tool with the square brackets. And you can rub out any bits that you don't want to keep. And if you go over too much, you can press Control Z to undo what you've just done. Okay, so mine's slightly rough. Yours you'll take a little bit longer to do it. You can zoom in, so Control and the plus sign will allow you to zoom in, so you get a little bit more precision. And then Control and minus will allow you to zoom out again. But there you go, you can get something that looks a little bit like that. And you could even change the color of this background as well. So if you select your layer tool, you could save it like that. Select your colored layer, go into adjustments and change the hue and saturation. And use the slider bars to change the hue. You can end up with any color background, and that's a nice, easy way to get lots of different effects. And you could just do a few printouts of that and you've got lots of different responses there to see which one works best.